Something I mentioned in a previous video was the ability for devils to combine their powers with that of another devil for more disastrous results. I made the connection between the combination of the Blood Devil and the Chainsaw Devil, which we saw in the final few chapters of Chainsaw Man, where Denji was capable of manifesting a chainsaw out of the blood which power had given him. I don't believe alone that he would have been able to generate the chainsaw without the contract he possesses with Pochita. So, working with this concept, devils and perhaps more likely, devil hunters could make use of multiple devil abilities to augment one or both of them for better results. I feel like this is something which the series could use to make a devil hunter an actual credible threat without them having to be partnered up with some incredible overpowered devil like Gun or Hell. It would also go some way to explaining why Kishibe would go out of his way to have multiple contracts even if he doesn't have anything left to actively pay them. It would also give credibility to him being one of the strongest active duty devil hunters despite his age, having his power being more in how he makes uses of his devils rather than sheer brute force. If this turns out to be true, then on top of the already interesting way Chainsaw Man deals with power levels, or rather how it doesn't deal with them, it adds in a new layer of complexity to a system which on the surface can appear plain or simple. On top of just adding to the already established power system, it would also give us further insight to relationships between devils. Some devils might be actively antagonistic to one another, not based around any actual grudge or action on either party's behalf, but rather because their fears are incompatible. A flood would for instance be incompatible with a devil embodying the fear of a drought. This would of course mean that these devils don't like to work together, and thus their abilities might actively be unwilling to work together, or they might end up actually working really well together. The antagonistic relationship between the two fears might create a powerful friction with devastating effects. If you took this example, you could flood an area, then immediately superheat the water, turning it into steam, evaporating it and causing a significant amount of cover for the user to escape. It would also be interesting to see how devils which represent more metaphysical ideas made manifest work with more physical fears. For instance, how would a violence devil, one which embodies the very idea of violence, work with, say, the spider devil's power? Would it cause the abilities of the spider devil to become more destructive? Would it cause the power of the violence devil to shift and sway, becoming more like an arachnid devil, which are both physical? You can pretty easily make some assumptions about knife and fire. For instance, fire knife seems like a pretty simple conclusion to come to, but trying to figure out something about the mental or abstract fears, you can get some really interesting results. A claustrophobic devil mixed up with a stress devil, that would certainly mess someone up. The stress devil amplifies the feeling of discomfort felt from the claustrophobic devil, making the target feel like they are being trapped, like the walls are closing in on them and that they can't get away even if they are in fully open space. Everything would suddenly become far, far too oppressive. Obviously, having two devils on the go at the same time for active combat would be quite taxing on a person's body. For instance, we only really see one devil ever being used at a time, with the exception of Makima, who is just an exception to all the rules regarding devils and their contracts. So because of this, the devils using more than one devil in combat would have to be experienced, be fully aware of what the devil requires of them, and obviously have what they require pre-prepared. It wouldn't do them any good to suddenly drop dead because they invoked two devils at the same time without giving their body time to recover, despite the fact that alone their body should have been easily able to deal with them. This could also explain why two devil hunters might work together, because they can each use a different devil's power to complement one another, or they could both summon the same devil's power but different aspects of it. Taking the fox devil for instance, one could summon its head while another summons its paw to strike out at an enemy and knocking it into the summoned maw, just as a quick example. If this turns out to be true, then we could see an entirely new threat emerging for Denji to face. A Rouge Devil Hunter, or perhaps just an individual who has managed to make several pacts with weak or less intimidating devils. Really putting the focus on the fact that power isn't everything in this world. Being intelligent, creative and being capable of making the best use of what you have are all vastly important factors too, something which was ever so slightly explored with the fight against Makima and her army of soldiers. It would also potentially give Denji an increasingly powerful and unique arsenal of abilities, from infusing his chainsaw with Power's blood to prevent healing, to breaking off his chains and having them chase after his target using the power of the future devil to know where they will be at. Having Angel's power would allowing him to harm intangible or beings which are otherwise resistant to his normal form of attack. Honestly, mixing different devil powers together with a hybrid might be the ultimate way to go, because of the regenerative properties they possess, meaning that they could potentially pay a contract indefinitely. Considering that the next arc we are supposed to be getting from Chainsaw Man is supposed to revolve around school life, and what is school life about if not developing yourself both as an individual and as a part of the workforce, or at least that seems to be what it is for. If you think it works or not, let me know in the comments. I am curious about what you think of the current educational system and how that might play a part into the next arc, what with Denji joining it perhaps for the first time in a great many years. But anyway, back on topic, with the arc being about developing, Denji developing new abilities, making new deals and demonstrating new possibilities would certainly be in line with that. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. I have been the Anonymous Weeb and I wish you the best of luck wherever you are. If you happen to enjoy the video, don't forget to like, and if you want to keep up to date with my videos, feel free to subscribe. See you in the next video.